Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Pumpkin Picks back with another video, and let's get right to this. UFC 315 is this weekend, and honestly, my overall thoughts of this card is that it's trash. This card is not trash. I would say it's a little bit more than mid. Before the Benoit Saint Denis fight was added again, I thought this fight, I was like, dude, this fight is freaking trash. Like, this is a mid card at best. And I would even say it's below a good fight night card. So, I mean, Jessica Andrade in 2025, like, she's not relevant anymore. Ian Cutelaba, he's not relevant anymore. There's just a whole bunch of fighters in the UFC right now that are not relevant, and then the prospects, for whatever reason, they just don't want to be fighting. And I think the UFC is getting to the point where they're not hyping up their fighters anymore. The fighters aren't really too concerned to be in the media. I would say it might be because there's so much of them are not U.S. fighters, and they don't really welcome interviews. I mean, you have a lot of Koreans here, Brazilians. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but it is hard for the UFC to build them up. Lithuania, New Zealand, Croatia, like most of these fighters, and I know it's in Canada, but still, most of these fighters aren't even Canadian. But let's get right to the main card because, as I said, this card in the prelims, it's pretty much trash. And the worst part is that back then, even that headliner in the prelims, I would feel like the UFC would give consistently good main prelim or their main headlines to the prelims. Now they have Mike Malott versus Charles whatever his name is. Honestly, I watch every single UFC card. Every single UFC card, and I watch for the most part from the, I would say, beginning of the card or close to the beginning of the cards to the end. I don't know who either of these fighters are. Mike Malott, I feel like I have heard of him before, and Charles Radtke. Like, who are these two fighters? So I'm gonna skip right to the main card, and Benoit Saint Denis coming out of a 2-fight losing streak, and his opponent is kind of coming in on short notice. Sorry, I shouldn't say kind of, but he's coming in for short notice. Kyle Prepelic, whatever his name is, a Canadian fighter. Honestly, like, it's not even going to be close. Benoit Saint Denis, I fully expect him to come and just watch this dude. I've never even heard of him. I don't even know if he was in the UFC before this. I'm assuming he was because he has his picture and it's not black or white or anything, or it doesn't have a Dana White Contender Series type of emblem. Let's see. Who did he fight? I don't know who he fought. But that being said, Benoit Saint Denis, easy win. This fight right here, Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva, I believe Natalia Silva is taking a huge step up in the competition. And Alexa Grasso, she's coming out of her UFC loss. And I feel like Mexican fighters, for whatever reason, once they lose their belt, you see them going a little bit of a dip. Or at least that's the case with Brandon Moreno. That's the case with Yair Rodriguez. So we're going to see if that same thing happens with Alexa Grasso. Natalia Silva, I think she's taking a huge step up in competition. I don't know if I just said that. I feel like I just did. But Alexa Grasso is probably the best striker in this division. I even think that she was getting, if I remember correctly, she was getting the better of Shevchenko. So, Alexa Grasso, she's that tough, gritty Mexican fighter. Don't let the face fool you because, she has a really attractive face. I would say these two are arguably the two, along with Valentina Shevchenko, but she kind of went down in the past years. They're the most attractive women in this division, and the fact that they're so highly ranked that's a good market for the UFC. Natalia Silva, though, I still haven't seen her much of her fights. I feel like the UFC pushed her a lot because I have not seen much of her. I don't remember or recall a great performance from her. I'm going to stick with Alexa Grasso. I feel like she is someone that dedicates herself to the gym, unlike, I mean, what is she going to be going out and partying? She's a female. Like, I feel like female fighters kind of take a different approach. Like, if they go out and party and get fucked, then, I just feel like that's not kind of them. They kind of female fighters, I would say, tend to hold themselves to a higher standard in that category. But or maybe they don't. I don't know. You seen Viviana, Poliana Viviana, whatever her name is. But anyways, I got Alexa Grasso. I'm gonna keep going with this, and then you have Jose Aldo against Ariel Helwani, and dude, like, I would like to say Jose Aldo beats Ariel Helwani. We saw what happened to Mario Batista. Honestly, to me, Jose Aldo is probably one of the most frustrating fighters because I feel like skill-wise, he still has one of the best striking in this division. He has the best takedown defense of the UFC that's ever been out there. No one manages to take him down. Not even Merab had managed to take him down all 5 rounds. Even like and he just lets himself get into these very close calls by not doing anything. And he thinks defending takedowns is gonna win him the round, but he lets himself get pushed up against the fence. He had the cardio and the skills to beat Mario Batista. He didn't. I think he even had the skills to beat freaking Alexander Volkanovski a couple years ago. Like Jose Aldo, skill wise, he still has the potential to be even GOAT level. But I just think there's something always been wrong with his cardio. And I mean, how old is he now? 38? Like, it would not be a surprise for Jose Aldo to start. We start seeing a massive dip in form, especially with how long he's been fighting. He's been, as far as for the fighter that has been in the top of the game, besides Jon Jones, he's been right up there. And you could arguably say that he's outlived Jon Jones in the top of the game, and he's had a harder resume. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Aldo beats Ariel Helwani. I'm gonna go with Jose Aldo because Ariel Helwani, like, you know how soy this dude is. He's freaking soy. He's Canadian. So I'm gonna go with Jose Aldo. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. Dude, honestly, I was not impressed with Manon Fiorot. Her last performance, it was trash against Erin Blanchfield. I don't rate her at all. Like, that performance discredited both of their skills because they were horrible. They were, honestly, you could say they were just as bad as the women's title fight that happened in the bantamweight division a couple years ago. This did not do a good service for either of them. Oh, but she's the favorite. I think it's because she's a good grappler. I'm going to go with Valentina Shevchenko because Manon Fiorot, her last performance was just so horrible. And then finally, Jack Della Maddalena versus Bilal Muhammad. For whatever reason, I feel like Jack Della Maddalena is going to win this fight and actually knock out Bilal Muhammad. I just had this funny feeling about this, and you're going to see. Because the thing is that, from what I learned, the UFC never gets the fights that they want. They never get the fight that they want. So, theoretically, after this last press conference, Dana White said that he's gonna, like, the winner of this fights, defines what's gonna be the main event in International Fight Week, which everyone wanted to be Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. I feel like because of that, the MMA gods, they're going to make it where Jack Della Maddalena beats Bilal Muhammad. We're never going to see the Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev fight. Islam Makhachev is going to go up and fight Jack Della Maddalena, and then we're going to see Ilia Topuria fight Charles Oliveira for the UFC title, which is honestly a very tricky fight. Like, that fight is really close. That's if Charles Oliveira could still be in his prime. For whatever reason, I have Jack Della Maddalena winning this fight. It's a lot closer than what you think because he has heavy hands. His grappling is great. And Bilal Muhammad, we've seen him get exposed a lot when he was younger, and he's not getting any younger. And I mean, you can just imagine that. The thing is that the more time they spend in the gym, it's not like it makes them better with no side effects. That still puts a wear and tear on the body. They still get rocked a couple of times, I'm assuming. They still get pinned or freaking thrown around, and they get more injuries. So Bilal Muhammad, I think he's 35, 36 years old. We know the curse. He beat the 35 curse already, but once they get older, they start to dip faster. I'm going to go with Jack Del Magdaleno. Anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, follow me on TikTok. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Comment what you guys think. My TikTok is in the description of this video. So, yeah, 56 subscribers. Dude, this YouTube channel has been so freaking hard. It's been so hard to grow. But one step at a time. And, yeah. Pumpkin Picks out.